there is something that we are not seeing that is countering our every move.
Today we are taking a deep dive into the latest trailer of episode 6, which may serve as the series or season finale of Dune Prophecy, which is titled The High-Handed Enemy. Now, after episode 5 left us with that very shocking revelation about Hart's bloodline, it sets up this potential sibling fight between Tula and Valya, but also between Hart and Lila. Based on this trailer, it looks like we'll be getting our very first scene together between the sisters Valya and Tula since episode 1, and it looks like the truth will either bring them closer together or break them apart forever. There is a lot to break down this trailer, so with that said, spoiler warning for the previous episode alongside with my theories and predictions based on this trailer. We open this trailer with Valya saying that there's something they're not seeing that is countering their every move, as it appears that she is trying to get past the guards to maybe speak to Hart or most likely speak to the Emperor. Now, I would bet that this probably happens pretty early on in the episode, where Valya believes that the Emperor is probably more open to speaking to her because of the recent arrival of Francesca, as we see she gets to walk past the guards at the front gate. We see Hart talking to the Emperor, telling him to open his eyes as he questions if this witch, speaking to Francesca, is having him blinded that he can't see the truth. As we see shots of the Emperor and Francesca in bed together and shots of the Emperor maybe seeing Hart has a point. Now, the truth that Hart is speaking of may point to many different things, but I think it's connected to the imprinting that she has over him that was mentioned in last episode. Now, imprinters are known as the most talented and most highly trained sisters with the extensive skills in seduction and sex. Now, men that are seduced by the imprinters are permanently affected by the intense sexual experience and are thereafter consciously or subconsciously favorable to the sisterhood. Here we get to see both younger versions of Valya showing Tula the thinking machine technology that Mother Raquel kept a secret. Now, during this moment, Tula is saying that her and her sister are the same, two wolves born to feed, which actually harkens back to episode 2's title, which was Two Wolves, and confirms what I've been saying about how Tula is basically a wolf in sheep's clothing, but here we finally hear her admitting this. As we see this very interesting shot here where Valya is sitting on the throne as the Emperor looks up at her. Now, this could be under her control of her using a voice on him, or could this be Theodosia using the shapeshifting abilities and posing as the Emperor? Which, speaking of Theodosia, I do believe that we'll see her using her abilities again sometime in the finale. Now, when Tula was saying that they're both two wolves that want to feed, she looks very upset. She has tears in her eyes. It seems like it's a very tense moment, and I would bet that this takes place once Valya learns the truth about Tula being Hart's mother. Now, we get to see Valya in action, cutting the throat of one of the elite soldiers, and by the soldier's stance, like they look like they're frozen, I bet she used a voice on them to stop them from moving in order for her to kill him. Now, next we get to see the other angle of this exact same scene, and it appears that it may be near some type of docking station, as we see two elite soldiers with their swords drawn walking towards Valya, and you'll notice that Hart is behind them. Now, the question is, based on this shot here, will she be able to take out these two soldiers with ease, which would lead us to seeing maybe a physical fight between Hart and Valya. Now, we have Kieran here who looks to have been beaten up and tortured, as we have the two soldiers behind him as he's saying to never trust a Harkonnen. Now, him saying to never trust a Harkonnen might confirm a theory I shared in my last video on how his father is Albert Atreides, who will remember that Tula let go in episode 3. He might have raised Karen to hate Harkonnens after Tula murdered the Atreides. Now, my question is, who is Karen speaking this to? I bet that Nez did eventually break him out at the end of episode 5, but they probably end up getting caught, and maybe Valya might have brought them both in, and Karen is saying to the Emperor to not trust her because, again, she's a Harkonnen. Now, going back to my theory about Kieran, I am very curious to know if we'll see Albert, like him as an adult, in this finale. But going back to him saying his hatred towards Harkonnen, he's saying this in the trailer. It's cut with a shot of Tula in some type of pod-like structure, which to me speaks to her probably going to go see her sister to confront her. But again, him saying not to trust the Harkonnen and Tula on the screen during that line really makes my theory hold true that, again, he was referring to not trusting Harkonnens based on what his father told him of Tula killing the Atreides. Now, we get this shot of a ship landing, and I bet this is after Tula discovered that Hart is her actual son. She most likely went to go save him from her sister or help stop him, or is there a chance that maybe Tula can convince her sister to keep Hart alive, and maybe they can use him as their own weapon somehow? Here we see the Empress taking a very aggressive approach towards her husband about her advice not being ignored anymore. It'll be really interesting to see what the Empress does in the finale and if she convinced Hart to take her side. And going back to their final scene together in episode 5, I wonder if she's trying to convince him to kill any or every member of the sisterhood that come near their family. Now, leaning more into my idea of the Empress wanting to completely eliminate the sisterhood, back at the school, we hear the Empress saying that the sisterhood will have no place to hide as we see the sisters running in panic to get back inside. Now, did the Empress send the soldiers to attack them, or is this a mislead in the trailer, like maybe this is attack from the inside? Maybe Lila, being the reckoning, has finally begun. Now, going back to the shot of the sisters running in panic, the only character that really stood out to me is Jen, because she's the one looking back. And if you've been watching my videos, I've been talking about my suspicion about how I feel like Jen, she just doesn't fit right in the scenario. Like, she doesn't have the other abilities of the sisters. She seems to be hiding something. Like, is she a spy, or is she a part of something that she's responsible for what's going on in this scene? Now, we have this shot here of the soldiers looking to be leaving on their ships. Again, this may be connected to what the Empress was saying about she sending them out to attack the other sisters. Here we hear and see Valya saying to Tula that if the shadows are where they want the fight, then that's where they should go. And that last part that she's talking about is the reverse shot from earlier in the trailer of Tula, but now we see it from Valya's point of view. Now, during Valya saying that, we get this shot of Hart getting up, and this might be from the scene where Karen was saying not to trust the Harkonnens. Now, here we get our first shot of Nez of the trailer, and she looks like she's wearing similar clothes to what we've seen the Acolytes in training wear. Now, it looks like Nez is in the Royal Palace, and this could be somewhere towards the middle or the end of this episode where all the dust has settled and we might see Nez ultimately joining the sisterhood. Now, by the way the trailer was made, here we see her lifting her hood up, followed by this shot of the Emperor who's looking at her with surprise. It's almost like Nez chose the sisterhood over their family, or could this be Theodosia instead posing as Nez? Now, here we see Kieran, who's smiling as he gets thrown into the wall. Again, I think he's in the same room with Hart, and this is going to lead to another scene a little bit later in this trailer. Now, this shot gets me really excited because we see Lila leading the sisters into the room where the thinking machine technology is, but what's important is what's being said.
The sisterhood had lost its way.
Which to me kind of confirms like 100% that that's Dorothea who's saying that, and she now has control over Lila's mind and body. I think it's safe to assume that Dorothea, in the body and mind of Lila, she's going to reveal the hypocrisy of the sisterhood for using the thinking machine technology, but more importantly, she's going to probably reveal the truth about Valya putting herself before the sisterhood, and also reveal the truth about her death. Now, here we have another very interesting shot of the trailer where we see young Tula, who may just have given birth to baby Hart, as she has tears in her eyes, which may speak to the fact that she might see a little bit of Ori in this newborn baby in Hart, and she knows that obviously she killed his father and killed members of his family. Or this could be the moment where she has to give up baby Hart under the instructions of her older sister, because of course he's half an Atreides. Which actually brings me to this point here. I wonder if Valya even knew about the baby, and if she did she instruct her sister to like not just get rid of it, like physically give it away to someone else, but like kill the baby because they are an Atreides? Or did Valya say give him up, never see him again? I'm very curious to know like how this plays out. Was Valya aware of Hart being even born? And if so, what was her instructions for Tula to do with the child? Now, here we see Sister Nazir, who we haven't seen since episode 2. Well, it looks like the airborne virus was attached to her, as we see her burning from the inside from the effects. Now, we get this quick shot of ice and snow, which we'll be talking about here in a second, but we also see Niz and Karen back to back defending themselves against the soldiers. Now, based on the clothes that she's wearing in this scene, which speaks to what she was wearing earlier in the trailer, but also based on the bruises that we see on Karen's face, I'm going to go ahead and throw my theory out that that was Theodosia posing as Nez a little bit earlier, but this does address the fact that she may have, with the help of someone else, like her brother, or maybe Michaela, or maybe even Albert Atreides, she managed to break Karen out, but looks like they have to fight for their lives if they plan to leave. Now, if this is the case, I wonder if there were orders to kill Karen but capture the princess, or if they have orders to kill them both, as we see the shot of them working together to take out these soldiers. Now, we go back to this scene that we've already seen twice in this trailer, but here we see Valya speaking to Tula, who says that she lied to her this entire time. As we see this look of disappointment and shock on Valya's face, This has to be the moment that Tula admits that she is Hart's mother, and maybe she again was told to literally kill the baby, but instead Tula gave it a chance to live. Or speaking of truths, maybe this was Tula admitting that she allowed one of the Atreides to live on that massacre, and that being Albert, who again, I really do hope that we get to see some type of appearance of Albert to know if he's even alive or not, but again, maybe he's the one who helped Nez break Kieran out. Again, we have shots of these ships that are leaving. Again, this may be the ships with the soldiers sent by the Empress to eliminate the Sisterhood. Here we see Tula running with a look of concern, followed by the shot of Valya, Nez, and Kieran, which confirms that they did survive the encounter that they had with the soldiers in this trailer, but also confirms that Valya survived her encounters with the soldier as well, as we saw earlier with her versus those 3 soldiers and Hart. But the look of concern of Tula, but also them looking up, I wonder what is the significance of these particular ships leaving. Now, we end this trailer with seeing both younger and older version of Valya in the snow and in the ice screaming. Now, is this some type of hallucination? Is this a nightmare she's having? Because again, we're seeing both versions of the character. Is this her time remembering that she saved her brother Griffin from drowning? Or is this something else completely different? Now, here we get to see Hart using his abilities, and we know that each time he uses his abilities, it causes him extreme levels of pain. So I wonder if Hart's going to try to use this against Valya, because we remember that she was exposed to the virus because she collected his blood, but maybe it doesn't work on her because she's so skilled. She knows how to control her body. That's something that most skilled superior mothers know how to do. So I wonder, is Hart going to kill himself by trying to kill his aunt? Now we end with these final shots of showing a thumper on Arrakis, as we see the same shot of Hart who gets consumed by the sandworm, leading me to think that we're finally going to get the full story about how he survived and how, more importantly, it ties to the blue glowing eyes. Man, that was a pretty damn good trailer. It gets me excited for the moments that we saw here, and I'm really beyond excited to see how it all shakes out. Now, along the way, I shared some of my predictions and theories in this breakdown, but I do plan on making a separate video going a little bit further, breaking down each character and talking about what I hope to see and going more in depth. So keep an eye out for that video. And with that said, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification. That way you don't miss out on any of my Dune Prophecy coverage. Now, before wrapping up, I did pose this question in my breakdown of episode 5, and I'm going to bring it to you all as well. Do you want me to host a live watch party for the finale? I've done this in the past for other HBO shows, so if you guys are interested, let me know by simply putting in the comments yes to having a watch party for the finale. So please leave your thoughts and theories after watching this trailer, what you all hope to see in the finale. And of course, if you haven't already, check out my full breakdown of episode 5, which you all can find that link of that video in the description of this video, but also find it on the screen by clicking it now. Thank you all for watching this breakdown. Remember, you all are awesome. Stay safe, and I'll catch you all on the next video.